What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 20 of the Week in Review. My name is Sean, and on this week's show, we have two movies, a limited edition segment, and E3 predictions, and of course, we'll look forward to this week's new releases. There's some good stuff. Start this week on the movie side. We'll start with Action Point. We'll go in alphabetical order this week. Coincidentally, we'll go from worst to best as well. That's just how it works out this week. Our first movie, again, Action Point. Man, this is an incredibly mediocre movie at best. I think my big problem with this particular movie is the marketing behind it. It really, really pushed that this was from the star of Jackass. And when you put that sort of focus on that, when you really hone in on like, hey, look, it's everybody's favorite Jackass and everybody's second favorite Wild Boy. No one said that last part. I did. It was, Chris Pontius is not as good as Steve-O. The point is once you start to put that expectation into people's heads and you really hone in on and hammer down the fact that, like, there are real stunts in this movie and Johnny Knoxville is 47 years old and still doing this, which is just absurd. That sets an incorrect expectation for this particular movie. Because I went in going like, oh, this is going to be like a movie that has like a very loose thread of a story with like dumb pranks and stunts and this, that, and the other thing in it. This is a movie that's actually plot first, stunt second. Like, they do a lot to like set up the characters and set up their interactions and set up the whole situation that has to do with Action Point, this theme park. And while the setup of the theme park isn't bad, it actually is a good idea, the fact that they've shown everything in the trailers, all the stunts in the trailers, doesn't help this movie at all. There are no surprises. Like, I sat in this theater, in this dead silent theater, during a comedy, and that is not a good sign. Like, I don't understand how a comedy can be this consistently unfunny. It's a weird thing of, like, you can tell that they're, like, setting jokes up, and they're trying to land punchlines, and it's just not working for whatever reason. It's probably that the jokes really aren't that funny. It's probably a little bit that the expectations are messed up and set incorrectly for this particular movie. It's just a mess. As the movie went on and I was able to kind of knock my expectations into a different area, not necessarily down, not necessarily up, just change them entirely, I actually kind of liked what they were going for. It's still by like no means is like a great movie. It feels like a better idea on paper than it is out in the wild and as a finished product. That's unfortunate to say because even at 47, like, Johnny Knoxville still charismatic and kind of charming, and you can really see like he's just a likable guy. I mean, I know I've spent $10 on worse things in my very short 28 years on this planet. I have absolutely spent $10 on many worse things. Don't watch this. It's not worth it. It's not good. Switching gears and letters of the alphabet, we're going to head on down to the U's for Upgrade, a movie that I actually think is really, really great and highly recommend. This is probably the second best movie I've seen this quarter, just behind A Quiet Place, which came out in early April, and just ahead of Deadpool 2. Upgrade feels like it was a movie made for me. This is cool, dark, bloody sci-fi, and shows how technology can be kind of weird and be used to meet one's end goals and how it affects the people around it. And just, man, I really, really liked this movie. For as much as I really enjoy this movie, I think it makes one pretty big misstep early on. And I think it's a misstep that doesn't feel necessary. It feels like a misstep that they could have worked around earlier in the movie and changed to be different, or written it out in the ending a little bit better to make it make a little bit more sense and feel less of like kind of like a gimmick or like a trope. I don't think it hurts the movie a ton. It was just something I noticed and kind of stuck with me where I was like, oh, I guess they didn't really have to do that. And the way it's set up feels kind of weird too. But other than that, I think everything else about it is really, really solid. This is a movie that features a great lead performance and a kind of a weird sense of humor, exemplified in one of the fight scenes. Without giving too much away, it's just the way he is responding to the fight scene is really, really interesting, and I thought was very funny. Um, I really highly recommend going and checking this movie out. I really liked the way this movie ended, even if I thought maybe there was a misstep or something that I would have personally changed. Length is definitely another plus with this particular movie. It only runs about an hour and a half, but it feels like it's cut down to what it needs to be cut down to. Leaves a lot of kind of open-ended questions about the world that they could explore in other movies that could be related to this. It could be, extra stories or whatnot. It gets in, it tells the story it wants to tell, it gets out. That's a point that I come back to with some stuff, and I think it shows up again in a good way with this particular movie, with Upgrade. Um, just a really, really great dark sci-fi movie that I really, really enjoyed. It is the beautiful month of June, the 6th month of the year, the 3rd month of the 2nd quarter, and it's almost time for E3, which is for those of you who don't know, is the Electronic Gaming or Electronic Entertainment Expo. It doesn't make sense if it's EGEE, but it's called E3. This time every year, a lot of outlets do predictions and hopes and dreams. So that's what I'm going to do. Predictions / hopes and dreams. I've tried to do my best to stay away from other content. Hopefully I'm not repeating too much. Obviously there's no such thing as an original idea, especially in 2018 on the internet. So I'm going to pick one thing that I think is actually going to happen throughout various press conferences. One thing I want to happen, like for my own personal enjoyment, and a couple other things here and there. Stuff like totally random super dreams coming true. Maybe some stuff I don't actually really want to see, like Death Stranding. Stop showing that game. Stop. Don't show it unless you have a date. I don't care. So, these are my E3 predictions, hopes, dreams, whatever you want to call it, for 2018. Let's start with EA and what I hope and dream that they will bring to the stage. My first part of this, my actual prediction, because I really like it, hope and dream. I predict that Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 3 will be out, or announced. I really like Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. I don't really care for the actual the vanilla Plants vs. Zombies tower defense game. That's not for me. What is for me is using sweet, sweet corn on the cobs, firing corn at other zombies and going like, argh, and then winning because I'm really good at the game. MLG in Garden Warfare 2. Garden Warfare 2 is a great game that improves on a pretty good game from Garden Warfare 1 and shows why sequels can be such a good thing for a gaming franchise. It takes a lot of the ideas from the first game, improves on them, makes it more streamlined, and just makes it an overall better product. I really, really hope that they bring Garden Warfare 3 to console sometime in the next year or so. I would guess that this would be right in the February-March range, depending on when Anthem gets its release date. Not that I think Anthem is going to hold its release date. Anthem will probably get a release date, but it's going to slide. So I think this would be a safe game to put out in February of 2019. That was where they put out Garden Warfare 2, and that seemed to work out pretty well. I mean, it worked out well for me. So since this is my E3 predictions, hopes, and dreams, put it out in February, because that's a good time to put out a game. Also, the fall is packed. A little more on the hopes and dreams side. I really hope that they bring back long shot mode for Madden 19. I liked it a lot in Madden 18. You can watch the review of that a while ago. I don't remember what it was, but it's there. It was good. I enjoyed it. Bring it back for Madden 19. The crazy hopes and dreams for EA always rest with the Skate franchise and Burnout. Do they bring them back? It's finally time for both of those. Need for Speed has been EA's primary racing franchise for a while and has not picked up steam. It seems like it's only dropped off further and further. Need for Speed Payback came out last year. Never heard anything about it. They've tried to turn that into like a hybrid between Need for Speed and Burnout. Hasn't really worked. Just bring back Burnout. They put out the remastered of Burnout Paradise. Now's the time. Just bring it back. Bring out Skate 4. There's a huge gap in the skateboarding games as far as like big stuff. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 was terrible. You have an opportunity to capitalize. Bring out Skate 4. Skate 3 is on backwards compatibility with Xbox One. Hoping that, reading the tea leaves correctly, bring both of them back. Moving on to Microsoft, which will be the next press conference the following morning. It's Sunday morning, I believe, at like 11:30 or so. Maybe noon. I can't remember. Forza Horizon 4. That's been rumored. Makes sense. They've alternated Forza Motorsport with Forza Horizon every other year, so it's Forza Horizon 4's turn. I loved Forza Horizon 3 a lot. I want Forza Horizon 4. Apparently it's set in Japan. At least that's been the rumor. Sounds awesome. On the hope side, this is kind of something I hope I don't see, but I don't really want to see Halo 6 personally, and I say that as a huge Halo fan. The fall's already packed enough as it is, and that franchise seems like it's already having some trouble anyway, and I don't know. The question is, do they remaster Halo Reach for the Master Chief Collection, kind of like they did with ODST, because it seems like it's been a really requested game. People really, really like Reach. So, I mean, is that something they can do? Where's Crackdown 3? What the hell is going on with that game? It's been years since we've seen that, and they still aren't out. They were supposed to be out last November, or do they just kind of not worry about it? Do they sub in something like Anthem? Do they sub in something like Red Dead Redemption 2 to kind of take hold or take the place of an exclusive for them? Do they have another smaller game like Super Lucky's Tale or Recore that they can bring out and say, hey, here's this new thing that we hope we can turn into a franchise? Bethesda goes after Microsoft later in the evening, and it was another one of those kind of tricky to figure out what I wanted and what to kind of predict from them. They announced what felt like their two bigger announcements, which were Rage 2 and Fallout 76. Before the show even started, those were announced a week ago. Fallout 76 was like a week ago. Rage was longer ago than that. I probably wouldn't have guessed Rage 2 anyway, so I don't know. Do they re-release Elder Scrolls 5 again for your phone? I don't know, and I don't really know what I want out of them. I mean, if you would kind of, if I thought about it a little bit more, I would have said something Fallout New Vegas-y, something new, something that really, really, really just abandons the base building stuff. And if the rumors are true about Fallout 76, I probably am not going to be terribly excited about that game, but I'm going to try and keep it open mind, or I'm trying to keep it open mind. You know, not the worst thing in the world to skip a video game every now and again. Monday is the big day with 3 press conferences. It kicks off with Square Enix. Early in the morning, they'll talk a lot about Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I'm sure. Some of their stuff, unfortunately, got a little bit leaked. It wasn't stuff that I probably would have thought of anyway, so do we see Just Cause 4? Hopefully. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe it'll actually run well on a console. But what I actually really want to see, my prediction is, we'll see something about Life is Strange 2. The question with this one is, of course, is this too close to Don't Nod's release for Vampire, however you pronounce it, I don't know, which comes out this week? And is it too close to Life is Strange Before the Storm, which just wrapped up a few months ago? I think it wrapped up in December, January, somewhere in there. I also may have gotten to it a little bit late, so I could be off on my timeline just a little bit. Kingdom Hearts release date is pretty inevitable at this particular point. They've pointed, all signs point towards this being the time where they release it. 2 things about that. One, it won't come out in 2018. If they say it comes out in 2018, it will be delayed. The game is not going to make it out this year. And I don't really see in the grand scheme, in the scheduling, where that game kind of fits. Granted, that audience is very big and probably really, 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 really wants this particular game. So it could fit somewhere probably between like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is mid-September, and I think Black Ops 4, which is like October 12th. So you could probably put it in that range. Unfortunately, that would probably eat some sales of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, though I don't know how many, because I don't know what the cross section of those games would be. The other question could have been something along the lines of Hitman, but Square Enix and IO Interactive separated earlier this year. The middle conference of day 3, or whatever they're calling it at this particular point, is Ubisoft. I didn't know where to go with this at all. We'll probably get the release date for the Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle DLC with Donkey Kong. That'll be pretty cool. It's supposed to come out sometime in June. Maybe they even drop it and just say like, hey, it's available right now, which would be pretty sweet. I'd buy that DLC. I'm very excited about that. I like that game a lot. I'm going to throw out a bold prediction for Ubisoft, new Splinter Cell. That I think that'll be their like one last thing sort of announcement. And I hope, really, really hope that we see some type of UbiArt game like Valiant Hearts. Maybe do another Valiant Hearts. I can't remember what the other game that was in that kind of that framework was. Or maybe like a new Rayman, because it feels like that would be a good thing to do. They've released Rayman Legends the way Bethesda releases Elder Scrolls V. Monday's final press conference is Sony. My guess is we see Dreams again. We get Dreams, maybe even a release date or a beta date. Maybe another one of those like, hey, and you can download the beta or the demo right now. We haven't seen Dreams in a really long time. Apparently people think it's absolutely incredible from like behind closed doors stuff that they've seen. My hope and dream would be that they bring back like Sly Cooper or like a Jack and Daxter, or there's another Ratchet and Clank in the works, because I just really like those games. Maybe they do it like they did Sly 4, bring in another studio to kind of take over and do that sort of thing. Budget price it at $40, put it out sometime early next year. They had success with Crash Bandicoot a year or two ago, and people seem very excited, including myself, for the Spyro remasters. The batshit insane dumb idea I had was PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2, but this time it's not a fighting game. It's 100 of your favorite PlayStation mascots dropping from the sky, because every game has to be a fucking Battle Royale at this point, and then last mascot standing wins. You can be Nathan Drake fighting Sackboy, fighting Ratchet, with God of War Kratos yelling boy every 5 minutes. So there you go. There's your humorous joke idea for E3 2018. A Battle Royale of PlayStation All-Stars. Last but certainly not least is Nintendo. They go Tuesday morning, sometime early on. What did I write down for them? Because I don't remember. Mario Party Switch. Bring it. Bring it to us. Give us the Mario Party Switch. That does feel like it's going to be a little bit too far out. Nintendo has done a pretty good job of showing stuff that is within the next several months throughout the year. E3 obviously is the big time to come out and show like, hey, we have stuff later this fall and into next year. But Mario Party Switch, do it. Bring it. Give it to us. We want it. Mario Golf. Bring those as well. Mario Tennis Aces releases later this month. Make it the trifecta. Bring all those games. Mario Golf. Please. Over on the hopes and dreams side of the Nintendo area is hopefully we'll get new information on that Yoshi game they talked about last year, which looks really, really cool, and I really like, because I like Yoshi a lot. My pie in the sky hope and dream is Metroid Prime Remastered for the Switch. The Switch, or the GameCube games and the Wii game, all on the power of the Switch. Those are my E3 predictions, hopes, dreams, pie in the sky, joke answers for this year. We now return to our regularly scheduled content with a regular segment on the show. What's new? It's our final segment of the show. Lots of good stuff coming out this week. Starting on Blu-ray with the second best movie of the year, Thoroughbreds. That's out. Go watch it. It's great. The Incredibles gets a 4K release in anticipation for The Incredibles 2, which comes out next Friday, the 15th. A Wrinkle in Time is also out on Blu-ray as well. PlayStation Plus games available right now, today, as you're watching this video, when I push it on social media. If you watch it early, because it usually goes up late Monday night, you're ahead of the curve. You'll be ready for tomorrow and the release of XCOM 2 and Trials Fusion. Woo! Over on the game side, Onrush is out this week. Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn, and Shape of the World, which is a first-person exploration game that has a really, really interesting art style that I would like to check out at some point. Also, Vampire is out. Vampire from Don't Nod, who did Life is Strange. I watched a little bit of gameplay before I started recording this show, and it actually looked kind of cool. So, I don't really care about vampires except for what we do in the shadows. So maybe I'll reenact that movie. It's an action RPG. You can't reenact it. That was a good idea, though. 3 movies hit theaters this week. Ocean's 8, which I'm very excited about. Hotel Artemis, which I am also very excited about. And Hereditary, which I am terrified / excited about. Hereditary looks really, really good, but I'm not a big horror guy, and it looks absolutely fucking terrifying. God, that movie looks so scary. But I might go see it. I should go see it. Toni Collette is great. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. If you did, like and subscribe and share and do all that good stuff. Be sure to check back next week and every week for games and movie content. Next week's going to be the big E3 extravaganza. Talk about all the stuff I liked, talk about all the stuff I didn't like. Hopefully there's some really, really great surprises in there. Let me know your hopes and dreams and stuff down in the comments. Your fun, silly ideas for games that companies could make that they never will, because it's fun to wildly speculate and throw sweet ideas at the wall and see what sticks. Until next week, bye. Kind of goofed that up. We'll see you next week. That's what I was trying to say. Bye. See you next week.